Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Some businesses along Monroe Street are pushing back against a planned construction project slated to start in April. The city plans to revamp Monroe between Indiana and Kiernan to improve infrastructure, including better street parking and wider sidewalks. The project will also take that section of Monroe from 5 lanes down to 3. That's why they're calling it a road diet. KREM 2's Lindsay Nadrich spoke with some business owners in the area who say they're not happy with the plan.
Several businesses on Monroe are concerned about how construction will impact them. Businesses here on East Sprague just went through that, so I spoke to a business about how they were impacted by that construction.
John Carlson has owned the Zips here on East Sprague since the 90s. Although he's happy with how the construction improved the street and the neighborhood, he says the construction on Sprague was tough on business.
The impact was pretty dramatic. It was about $100,000 in lost sales for this business here.
He says that breaks down to a loss of about $1,000 a day because of the street closure. The loss in sales is exactly why some businesses on Monroe Street are worried about the planned construction project there. The Monroe Street Business Association sent this letter to the city opposing the project. It's signed by 24 businesses who believe the project is the most ill-advised public construction endeavor. I spoke to Janet Richard, the owner of Vintage Rabbit Antiques, as she packed up her store in Monroe today after being in business for 23 years. She told me she's closing her store ahead of construction because she doesn't think her business could make it through it.
I felt that the street construction would, if not put me out of business, I would lose at least half of my overall gross sales during the construction period.
Janet says she relies on people driving by who stop spur of the moment. If the road is closed for construction, she says she'd lose most of her sales.
Maybe some of the young people would come, but my clientele tends to be above 30, and older folks just aren't going to go out of their way or whatever to come. Besides that, I sell a product that nobody needs. It's a spur of the moment, or I just want it. Whereas a grocery store, they'd come because they have to have food.
She was even ready to sell her business to someone else to keep it going, but says when the potential buyers heard about the planned construction and how it would impact business, they backed out of the deal.
Would you still be open if this construction wasn't planned?
I would still be open, and I would have been able to sell my business.
It's stories like this that prompted City Councilman Mike Fagan to come up with a resolution for the project.
Statements and the complaints that I get almost on a daily basis, I mean, they are right up there in the top 3 with potholes and property crimes. How dumb of an idea it is to choke Monroe Street down to 3 lanes.
He says his resolution is a compromise to help find common ground between those who are for and against the project. Many businesses he's spoken to agree with the safety enhancements construction would bring, but want to keep 5 lanes of traffic.
I definitely need to stress, I'm not trying to kill the project. What I am trying to do is just to offer an option that is, I believe, palatable to those that have been in opposition of this particular program in the past.
Other city council members have said they plan to vote against the proposed resolution. As for the Zips on Sprague, even though they won't be making a profit this year because of the construction, they're happy with the way it looks now.
I'm ecstatic about how this looks. If anybody hasn't been down here, they need to come down and see what this neighborhood is looking. It's at night, it's very welcoming, it's well lit. You just need to come and check us out.
Lindsay Nadrich, KREM 2 News.